I don't use an elytra on my forever world. So, if I want to get from spawn to the western side of the megacontinent, I have to swim all of the way around. A trip that should take 30 seconds now takes 5 minutes and covers a distance of 11,000 blocks. So today, I'm leveling hundreds of thousands of blocks and creating a massive custom canal to create a more optimal route, splitting the entire megacontinent in half. This is officially the second port of the Forever World. By the end of this video, I want it to be possible to swim with Jody back to the capital without having to go all the way around the desert and all the way back through. It's kind of unfortunate how close it's been to being possible all this time. This body of water that naturally generated already makes huge progress at getting back towards spawn in that direction, but we're gonna have to tear out this stony beach. Yes. Oh, there is now a very small opening. This is the smallest section that I need to connect, and 4 stacks of TNT got me this far. I'm gonna need to use a beacon and just get to work, bro. Now, this section is pretty small, so I'm actually going to be kind of terraforming it to look like it was always not here. You've probably noticed, though, that I have not removed everything. In fact, I don't even think that this counts as half because I need to level out this massive area down to the sea floor. The idea of leveling this entire area without water breathing, it sounds like a horrible idea. Like, I could probably force myself to do it, but it's just gonna be a lot easier if I have water breathing. And I'm actually not going to be doing what you might expect. Like, I could make water breathing potions. I actually do have some pufferfish, but I've never in this world gotten a conduit before, which is basically like the water equivalent of a beacon, and it gives you, within a range, water breathing indefinitely. And I actually have the most difficult material for it already, being the nautilus shells that you get from killing drowns occasionally. The thing that I don't have is a Heart of the Sea, which you get from buried treasures. Probably been basically 2,000 days since I've last gone on a buried treasure hunt. Off we go, Jody. Now the question is, how quickly am I going to be able to find a buried treasure map? Oh my gosh. The Dolphin's Grace is too strong. Already, point me to the loot. Are you serious? If you guys didn't know, if there isn't a buried treasure for a far enough distance in any direction, a buried treasure map actually bugs out when it generates in a shipwreck and just becomes a normal map. Hence, what has happened here. Oh my gosh. The one benefit to being out here is because of how annoying it has been for the entirety of this world to get to this place, I'm very confident that I haven't looted anything out here. Every shipwreck I come across is most likely going to be untouched. Yes, okay, an actual buried treasure map that isn't broken. This is quite exciting. I don't think I've ever crafted, made, or used a conduit ever before. I kind of just skip out on the Heart of the Sea when I loot buried treasure chests. So this is gonna all be a new experience. Okay, Jody, try not to die in the 1 minute that I go over here to loot this. Hello? Where's the chest? Yes. Have I never looted a buried treasure map on this world? What? That cannot be true, bro. I mean, I guess it is. I mean, that's why I guess I don't have a Heart of the Sea. I thought that maybe I just hadn't picked one up when I did loot buried treasure chests in the past, or maybe had it in my storage. But no? What? I'm shocked. I can't believe that, bro. All right, Jody, the next phase of this operation is going to be a bit dangerous, so it's going to be best if you're safe and sound for this next part. Ugh. I should be able to craft myself a conduit. First time for everything, I guess. But this is not everything that I need to actually place a conduit. Because just like a beacon, you also need blocks to power it. The difference is that in the conduit's case, if I'm not mistaken, the blocks I need are prismarine blocks. Hopefully 1 milk bucket is enough. I mean, I only need 42 blocks of prismarine. So hopefully I can manage to get that before I get mining fatigue at all. But I do have at least 1 milk bucket. Sorry, guys. I don't know. This might be like a very important temple. Oh. Oh my gosh, bro. They're not happy. Have I ever killed an Elder Guardian before in this world? We're getting a lot of new stuff done, I think, because I don't think I've ever killed an Elder Guardian before. I haven't. Yes, dude. And I'm the one with the last laugh. Milk bucket. Yo, B, what are you doing out here? Wait, I'm not gonna save you. This is not where the flowers grow, dude. How am I getting? Wait, I'm sorry. No. I think I accidentally hit the B when I used my trident. I'm sorry. I'm still gonna get you to the mainland. How am I managing to do so many completely new things? Like, how is that an advancement, bro? Okay, I'm sorry. I would be lying, though, if I said that this wasn't significantly easier than getting a beacon. Now, the question is, can I build one of these things correctly? From my very limited times ever seeing one in the flesh. Yes, okay, I can. Genius! Okay, what does this even do? Is it working? Oh my gosh! Yo, that was actually... Wait, it gives you... Wait, it gives you night vision as well. I didn't even know that. Oh, that's actually gonna be even nicer than I was initially thinking for this. You know, I could have pushed forward to get this done with nothing, but this is gonna be an absolute dream. I'm particularly a fan of the heartbeat sound effect. It's a little ominous. Conduit power. It doesn't even list the effects. Whatever demonic power you are using, thank you. Now, one thing that is very important that I take care of before actually digging this all down to the ocean floor is just filling the top level with water first. I'm glad that I thought about it because that would have been an absolute nightmare scenario if I started digging this down and basically wound up with like an empty crater with no water in it, because filling that up manually would have been really painful. By doing it in this order, it allows all of the water to basically fill up and turn back into source blocks first. This is going to be so satisfying. Okay, here we go. Oh yeah. I don't have to deal with this later. I can just let it all turn back into source blocks. Oh, that was beautiful. This officially makes these two bodies of water connected, but it also means that I can start digging layers further down, and all of the water that I just filled in will now actually filter down and run into all these blocks, leaving nothing empty. The upside of this project is that I am walking out of here with a lot of new materials for building or other future projects. I mean, I have literally gotten, not much andesite, I guess, but like I have just been collecting as much of the stone mainly as I have been able to, because yes, it is a lot more than I guess realized it would be, but I'm pretty happy with how it turned out. I didn't try, I guess, like crazy hard, but I feel like it honestly makes it look more like natural terrain generation, because I feel like I wouldn't even notice this if I was just like passing it by really quickly. Like, I don't think I need to do anything more. This is perfect. This whole area is now blown wide open. This means that I can officially take Jody a lot closer towards the capital already. because we can now enter into this body of water. Isn't this exciting? You've never seen this body of water in your life. I know. It's, today is the day of new experiences. But unfortunately, as you can see, we pretty quickly run into another barrier that we're gonna need to break through. This is going to be the largest part of this process. This is a solid forest in between where we can now reach and all the way over there. That is the gap, the body of water that connects back to the capital. We need to get to here, and then we have full access back to the capital. I'm gonna have to deal with this kind of stony beach area as well, but that's going to be a lot smaller of a problem in comparison to just this solid terrain that we have to get over to the other side. I am going to need not one beacon, not even just 2 beacons, 3 entire beacons. This should actually, hopefully, be enough to have haste across this entire area. Due to how insanely far of a distance that I'm going to need to basically carve out to allow the water to go between, I'm not planning to completely terraform it down to the ocean floor. That would be a distance of over 200 blocks that I would have to completely level down to like the degree that I did with the relatively small stony beach. Because of how large this section is going to be, I have a slightly different plan. A pretty simple excuse to not have to terraform this entire area is to just turn it into a canal instead. I actually think that this is going to be cooler than terraforming it because it's going to actually, you know, be visible. It's going to be an actual build. Like the whole point of the terraforming and removing the stony beach is to make it look like it was never there to begin with. But I'm actually really excited to do this part of it because it's going to be a very visible thing that whenever I'm like kind of passing through here, it's like, wow, I just like, you can kind of see how tall this terrain was that was carved through in order to reach the other side. It is so high, in fact, that I'm gonna need to take care of these trees before I widen it any further. I'm not exactly sure how wide I'm going to make this canal because, I mean, logically speaking, it's gonna need to be like wide enough that whatever ships I end up building later down the line would, you know, be able to fit. And I'm ambitious, okay? I can't currently build a ship, probably, but I eventually want to build like some proper, you know, large ships just kind of like at the different ports around the world. So this is gonna have to be like decently wide just to fit those theoretical things that I will build down the line. But I suspect it's gonna have to be wide enough just sort of on its own. I'm probably just gonna play it mostly by ear because it is a lot deeper than I was expecting it to be. I didn't really realize how far the terrain kind of like, I thought it was all relatively close to the ocean. So now I'm very glad that I'm not expanding this a lot wider than it has to be. Because this is gonna have to be wide decently just to not like look super weird somehow. The mobs are beginning to invade. I'm not exactly sure why, but ever since I built my mob switch, it disables mob spawning like 95% of the time, but just every once in a while, like a mob can spawn somehow. So it is working, but I guess I need to add like more zombie villagers than I have or something. But it's so weird because I thought that it was just a very exact amount. I don't know how you're spawning, bro. Guess I am making effectively a giant mob spawner. So if any mob spawns are managing to get through, I'm giving them a lot of easy foundation opportunity to spawn. Fortunately, it is only going to get larger. Now, because this is a canal and, you know, therefore a proper build, I can't just dig this out like I did with the Stony Beach. I am planning to actually turn the walls into this really cool gradient. I kind of thought up some of these blocks to just kind of transition because I want it to eventually, as it comes down towards the water, become more and more mossy. I think that's going to look really cool because at the end of the day, this is going to be a very hard lined, you know, just like walls are straight. The bottom is probably going to be like a straight sort of like just floor, or maybe like have like an angle to it. I want it to look like very man-made and constructed. So the way to counteract that is with more textures and blocks. And I'm planning to probably just have it be like overgrown with seagrass and kelp as well. But before I can do that, I need to repair my tools. I not only got them down to low durability, but I also used all of the XP in my hotbar to actually like repair my tools. I'm already living at an advantage, bro, and I've burned through so many levels already. But fun little fact, we are right by the end portal. Bang, right next door. I imagine the village that eventually will be built near and around that canal will probably have something going on relating to the stronghold because, I mean, they're gonna be right on top of it, basically. One of these days, I need to, like, seriously AFK the pigman farm or something and just get a few hundred levels because, you know, I'm gonna keep doing more of these projects that require mining an astronomical amount of stone. How much stone have I mined, actually? Yeah, okay. I don't know what it was before, but it was not 68,000. Like 50 levels was basically what I had before. That's enough to repair like a netherite tool, I think, fully. Maybe two. I just burned through all of that. All right, guys. As always, I really appreciate the levels. This will last me a grand total of 3 hours. Hopefully not. Hello, mob switch. Why aren't you working, bro? Do you need a new ender pearl? I don't know if it's also maybe because of the fact that I'm maybe not directly loading this mob switch outside of an ender pearl most of the time. Let me put in a new ender pearl just in case. I don't really know. A lot of the times I pretend to know what I'm talking about in this game, bro, because it works most of the time. Now, with this gradient of blocks that I need to get for the canal, I'm more than set with all of the stone. Like, I have more stone than I have ever had, ever, because I've mined 70,000 basically in the last, like, few hours. And really all that I am sort of not covered on is the moss. Like, I'm gonna need moss for mossy stone bricks, to put moss on the cobblestone, and then of course for full moss blocks that I basically want to line like most of the actual submerged bit of the canal with. And I'm pretty sure that I have, yeah, like I have 2 stacks. I'm gonna need marginally more than 2 stacks of moss. Do I have any in my storage? Okay, that's a no. I know I said that I wasn't using the farms in the capital anymore, hence, you know, shutting all of them down and or blowing them up, but I kinda do need moss. And moss is like one of the only machines that is still technically functional. I think I'm just gonna get 12 shulker boxes of moss. That should be enough. We shall see how long I feel like doing this, though, because, you know, technically this is not a moss farm. This is a bone meal farm, so it doesn't exactly output moss. So I'm just gonna have to basically stand here and collect moss for a while, kind of just ad nauseum. I wonder if I could disable just one side of the farm from running. The farm still obviously needs bone meal to run, but I don't know if it needs to be reinvesting all of the bone meal it's producing. Because if I break all of those hoppers, that stops just this one side of the machine from actually turning all of the drops into bone meal, funneling them into the composters, and it'll just like allow all of this moss to basically just accrue inside of these barrels instead. Well, this has been incredibly fun, but that is 12 shulker boxes. I'll just go ahead and repair this machine. How do you exist, bro? Out of here. Now, to make things easier, I actually designed a randomized gradient of the blocks already. This basically means that all I have to do is kind of just line it up with roughly where the canal wall is. And I don't have to worry about actually mentally thinking about randomizing all the block placements, especially with how many there are. But this kind of already shows a little bit better of a job than them being just like in a straight column, because when it's like fully randomized, it's gonna look very cool. And this is a little inaccurate actually, because it's gonna be probably more like at that level, because I don't really want it to be full moss blocks until actually being submerged in the water. I think it's gonna look so cool. One of the greatest changes in recent times is now the fact that you can turn stone or deep slate into cobbled deep slate, or cobblestone in this case. Effectively means that I can safely just kind of mine the stone in bulk, and then if I need to turn it into cobblestone, I can, but I'm not forced to mine cobblestone and then smelt it in reverse. I think about a shulker box of each material should be good. Thankfully, you can use moss to make these mossy variants of the blocks instead of what historically was the way of doing it, you know, by using vines. Luckily, that's not on the table. We shall see if about a shulker box of each material, as well as a metric ton of some of them, you know. I think this should probably be enough, but we'll find out. Get out of here. You will not pillage my canal, bro. This is going to happen. I know that you guys are not happy about the continent getting kind of completely split in half, but you'll learn to adapt. Chicken, it is not safe here anymore. This is soon going to be flooded. Come with me to where it is safe. You can watch if you want to, but it's going to be a lot harder to rescue once this is full of water. This is probably going to be one of the most monumental moments in the Forever World's history, bro. This canal is going to unlock the complete potential for all of the shipping demands that the people of this continent may need. No longer will you have to travel 11,000 blocks just to get from the capital over to the desert. I mean, really, this is just my Forever World's Panama Canal, or like Suez Canal. Probably of the same historic like significance as well, you know. If you thought that the stony beach was satisfying, this is about to be potentially the greatest moment of your entire life. I think this is everything that I need to do for this to happen. I think removing this border is actually just going to allow the entire channel to fill with water. Here goes nothing. As soon as I break this block, basically. Oh yeah, there it goes. Because it has the outer edge of source blocks and the source blocks coming from that angle, it just fills all the way down. Oh my god. Yes! This was by far the largest distance between the two separate bodies of water that I needed to connect. Everything else, child's play. This 250 blocks or so of what was once a full forest is now connected. Oh my god. That looks so cool and so weird. I'm pretty used to seeing this as just solid birch forest. This bee is checking it out. I don't know if it's that or if I destroyed his family home, but we're just gonna go with the former. I think my tentative plan for right now is actually to raise all of the terrain across where the canal is, all up to like this same Y level. For most of it, it is all just at this very flat height, which is nice. It's just like this one bit that kind of dips down a little bit. But to be honest, it actually is also higher up, just kind of over there. So I think it's gonna look pretty natural if I kind of just raise this like small part of the terrain, raise this small part of the terrain that dips down, because for the majority of it, it is all at this one height. And I think that's just going to be easier to deal with in terms of kind of designing this integration up here into the normal terrain again. And it's going to leave a very open-ended possibility for like what I can actually do in terms of a build. Because I think it would be cool to have like a city on this side and a city on this side separated by the canal. I think I do have to come up with a name for this canal, like something official, but I don't know. If you guys have any ideas, I'm all ears, because I feel like I'm typically really bad with coming up with names. Just like the stone beach, the next step of this process is going to be what is below the sea level. But I think because in this case, it is a much narrower point of entry for the water, it's not really implicative that I just dig down and just kind of let the water go in immediately. I think I'm actually going to like dig out a cavity underneath the water and just sort of remove this layer last. Just sort of makes things easiest for as long as possible, I think. Yeah, I don't even think that I have dug half of what I need to for the canal. I mean, this is so much more ominous. And the mobs are managing to get through again. Oh, never mind. I think my schizophrenia medication's wearing off, actually. Yeah, this is going to be very cool looking. I thought about replacing this top layer with sand so that I could just like break one block and then it would fall all the way down. But this area is so large that it would have taken a very substantial time just to set that up. At this point, any time that I can save, I'm gonna be keen on doing that. So it would have been cool, but I will opt to just dig this layer out last. It is very cool though, seeing the full gradient for the first time instead of it being cut off, because, oh, it's so perfect how the water sort of gradually sort of causes this algae almost to kind of like become more and more covered. I mean, just to give you guys a bit of a better idea on just the true scale of this canal, every single layer of blocks, such as this one that I'm removing to let the water in, is about 2.5 shulker boxes worth of blocks. Stacks of blocks, bro. I'm actually curious, how much stone have I mined now? Because, I mean, it's probably gonna be at least doubled, right? Oh my god. Triple. That's not triple digits. That's sextuple digits. 100,000 blocks of stone mined. I mean, that's actually not entirely accurate because, you know, I gotta be looking at dirt. That's increased quite a bit. Diorite, granite, andesite, like all of that has just astronomically increased. I'm not really gonna bother recovering just this layer of blocks just because I have been doing a good enough job. I mean, I've basically been just recovering everything that I've been mining for the most part. And I am going to have more stone than I'm gonna know what to do with for a long time. And that's not even all of it. That's not even half of it, I don't think. I have so much dirt and stone now. I can't even bring them all back. What? I really need to get whatever is going wrong with the mob switch figured out. Nearly all of these shulker boxes are full of stone. All of these full of dirt. It's like, no, there's even more stone over here. I mean, it's the talk of the town. What do you think of all this stone? It's probably more than you've ever seen. And to top it off, I am still not out of the woods. I need to bring down the edges to the actual depth of the canal. And it's gonna be light work in comparison to what I've already done. However, I am going to be needing the conduit because it is now completely underwater. I mean, this area now looks like nothing in comparison. Because of how large this thing is, I actually think I'm gonna have to break the conduit when I'm done with this side and move it, because I don't think that its effects are going to reach. I think as a start, I'm just going to extend the sort of general shape that I dug of the canal just out into the main body of water on either side. And then do maybe some marginal terraforming, just kind of getting it to sort of ramp up into this like canal shape. I'm not really too sure. I'm not even gonna bother collecting these blocks because I just think that it's basically just pennies in comparison. I will say the canal just extending into the distance into the water fog is truly terrifying. I actually think that it might look better if it was, instead of like, I guess being terraformed to kind of naturally go into it, to give it this like lip, like it's just kind of punched out of this taller cliff face, because this like one little part kind of just sticks up weirdly. So if I kind of like move this down a little bit, it just looks like it's, yeah, cut into about half of the vertical distance here. And I think that kind of being the general vibe on both sides is probably going to be for the best. It's like this one very sort of tall cliffy area is just like cut straight through from like one side to the other, and it's just like very tall terrain for like the whole area as well. So that kind of just having a very steep fall off instead actually makes more sense. Yeah, okay, I'm liking the look of that a lot more. As for fading the walls into the surrounding terrain, I actually had the idea to kind of have these pillars at the edge that kind of sticks out a bit from like the main canal structure and can kind of act as support beams for it, but will also kind of allow it to be a much better transition. I'm of course going to add the gradient of blocks from the rest of the canal to this, but I'm just trying to see if this is a nice general shape. Perchance it would actually look better shifted one block further over, kind of like it's curving into the canal. Smaller? Yes, I'm liking that so far. Well, by so far, I mean, I think that that's basically all that I need to do. That's passable at the very least for right now. I think I'm happy for now moving this design to the other side. I know I said that I didn't want to terraform into the shape of the canal just because like the other side was such a big cliff drop off, but the depth of this much like shallower side, it was too perfect of a lineup to ignore. So I guess both sides just kind of look quite nice, but just like for completely different reasons. That means that the only thing left to do is to actually put some vegetation inside. I just want to have this look as overgrown as possible. So adding a lot of seagrass kind of among the more central part of this is gonna add quite a lot, I think, to the overall look of this. 2 stacks of bone meal later, that has already made such a big difference. But this is actually not the only thing that I want to add. I was doing this first because I couldn't remember if just bone mealing underwater also did kelp. Appears like it does not, but I want to add some kelp as well just to get some more vertical distance towards like the water's surface, because it's already pretty visible like this, but I want to have even more of this like animated vegetation. I'm probably going to leave the kelp towards the edge just because if it's evenly dispersed just everywhere, it's just gonna kind of look, I think, like too much. but this is going to kind of add animation just in a kind of the same shape as the canal. But I'm probably going to keep it like this kind of density, to be honest, just because I also want this, you know, very cool gradient to still be visible. I mean, that is looking so freaking cool. Come under the water. It is... Honestly, I'm glad with the amount of effort that I have put forth with specifically the canal, because it's kind of great, because no matter what builds I end up doing, it's kind of a pretty sort of tame, neutral thing. It's just kind of effectively just standard stone wall that just has this like really cool mossy sort of transition into the vegetation. I'm very happy with this. And conduit, you've served me well, but it is time that you get removed. Jody, wake up, okay? This is a historical moment for the world. We are going where no player, where no dolphin has ever gone before. We can pass through this just like we did before, but now we have unlocked the next stage. Oh my god, this is actually so sick, bro. I have wanted for so long to be able to cross that distance with a dolphin. It is now possible, which also makes us closer than ever to being able to get back to the capital. If we kind of precariously make our way through this very shallow water. I know it's scary, Jody, but we have to. We have to march forward. We can make it. Well, there's the catch, is we can't. That is it right there. If we make it to that body of water right there, we are home free back to the capital. All that's really left to do is to widen this thin river over here. And then, much like with the first stony beach, we're gonna have some terrain that we're gonna have to completely remove in order to open the water up. But I'm honestly kind of fine with that, because ever since I laid my eyes upon the worst looking terrain ever, especially with how cool the world around looks, I think just removing a lot of this stony beach is going to be beneficial in all possible avenues. However, I have ran out of levels again, so I think I'm going to spend some time in the pigman farm first and just like accrue a few hundred levels. Don't want to think about it again. It is up in the air whether or not doing all of this was worth 6 hours of work. I think it was. I got a little bit carried away, I think, from what I initially thought would be the smallest of the three to do. But this terrain, this is how it should have been, bro. This is what it should look like. This looks so much better for the area. The whole stony beach just, it almost felt like a weird protrusion of blocks just like in what should have just been this bit of water, because that looks a lot nicer. And this means that after all of the work that we have done today, Jody and I can finally swim back to the capital directly. We don't have to go all the way around. We can cross over this first stony beach. That was many days ago now, into the canal that we've built. I am so happy with this as well. And now the newest addition, the complete removal of this entire area. You'll also notice that I kind of just took care of the stony beach even into this area, which now means that you can also swim in this direction a bit as well. But we can actually get back into the main waterway, into the gap, and swim now. Oh my god. We are here. We are back in the normal terrain of water. I have wished for so long to be able to get from where we just came from back to the capital directly. And it's now possible. What was that? Jody, like 20, 30 seconds to travel? Gone are the days of taking 5 minutes to get to the desert. The final thing that I actually wanted to do just before ending this out is I was so curious to see the comparison of my stats before and after embarking on this massive project. So as you can see, I've got a nice little screenshot here from just a backup that I made before I started this episode. These are my old statistics for stone, dirt, grass, even the 3 other like stones, andesite, granite, diorite are all here. These are going to be substantially higher. Before I dug what was now like the largest section, I think it was at like 100,000. So this stone could very well be 200,000 or like high 100,000. I'm terrified to see this number. Actually almost 200,000. Oh my god. That is nearly a 6 times increase on the amount of stone that I've mined. I've doubled my dirt that I've mined, nearly with grass blocks as well, and then just about doubled all of the andesite, granite, diorite as well. Oh my god.